How's it going, my dudes? Welcome back to another Gods of Genesis video. I'm so excited for today's video because we'll be talking about Lilith. Okay, so I enjoy using Lilith. I have a lot of experience using Lilith. In fact, I use her everywhere all the time. I think I know enough about her to give you guys a good perspective of what an endgame Lilith should look like and how you should play. Okay, so let's take a look at her talents real quick. Baptism of Illusion. When an enemy dies, randomly inflicts 1 stack of charm on other enemies. 3 times, all attacks ignores 20% of the target's physical defense. That's amazing, but at level 6, when an enemy dies, the change is from 5 to 6 here. You inflict 1 stack of charm on other enemies 4 times, and all attacks ignore 35% of the target's physical defense. So this is going to be a really painful nuke. This is going to make her incredibly strong against tanks and incredibly strong against enemy DPS units when you hit them on your AoE. Okay, so let's take a look at her other skills. Okay, Thorn Rose deals physical damage equals to 100% of strength to a single enemy and inflicts 2 stacks of charm. I believe this is due to one of her awakenings, right? Enchanting Kiss, Thorn Rose additional inflicts 1 stack of charm. Moving on, Succubus Lash deals physical damage equals to 170% of strength to all enemies and inflicts 2 stacks of charm. Enters stealth mode for 1 turn. This is obviously improved by her awakening as well. Over here, Evil Blooming, this is her ultimate. Deals physical damage equal to 500% of strength to a single enemy and detonates all stacks of charm on the target. Each stack of charm dealing true damage equals to 10% of the target's max HP, capped at 10 times of Lilith strength. Okay, so from here, we know 2 things. One is the more charm effects there are on the enemy, the more painful this is gonna be. Okay, and secondly, the higher Lilith's strength is, the more powerful this skill's cap is going to be. After landing a critical strike, deals physical damage equal to 100% of Lilith's strength to other enemies. So if you crit on your ultimate, you're actually gonna have 2 different kinds of AoEs. 1 Evil Blooming, 1 Succubus Lash. That's one of the reasons why she's so amazing. Moving on, her support skill deals physical damage equal to 350% of strength to a single enemy and detonates all stack of charm on the target. It's basically just Evil Blooming over here. Each stack of charm deals additional true damage equal to 4% of the target's max HP, again caps at 10 times of Lilith's strength. However, I think in most situations, you're not going to be using Lilith as your support. She's going to be good in all content as your main lineup. Her synergy skill, Circle of Sin, attacks 3 random enemies dealing physical damage equal to 150% of Lilith's strength plus 150% of Mary's int. This ability is guaranteed to hit the target and inflicts 2 stacks of charm and 1 stack of healing prevention. It's generally good. It might not actually make a lot of sense to use up 1 slot for a Mary, because I think in most of the situations, Mary is not going to be super viable, especially not so much in PvP. So from her ultimate, you know that strength is really important, and thankfully her strength stat is extremely strong. Double S, this is at 5 stars, and when she hits 6 stars, it's going to get even crazier and crazier. So I think she has, from my understanding, the highest strength stat in the game, and is really huge. So I have 26,000 strength over here, which means that I can do up to 260,000 damage just by, without critting, without landing a crit, I can go as much as 260k damage using Evil Blooming on its own. Another stat that I would recommend you to build other than strength is definitely speed, okay? So her speed is really high, 140 base, which allows her to be essentially the fastest unit in the game, and essentially the first unit that takes a turn in a fight. Okay, so if you take a first turn in a fight and you drop an AoE, chances are you'd be able to take out a couple of their DPSs, so that's why Lilith is going to be super OP in the arena. So because Lilith is very heavy on AoE, she does not necessarily need a whole ton of crit, because when you use a Succubus Lash, her S2, you would most of the time land a crit on their DPS units and their healers. Okay, you may not crit their tanks, but that's not really going to be a problem. Moving on to equipment, Funeral of Gods is a very good equipment that actually single target damage abilities deal additional damage equal to 120% of your strength. The thing is, for Lilith's Evil Blooming, even though it acts as an AoE when it crits, however, Funeral of Gods actually activates even when it crits. So basically, your Funeral of Gods is going to boost her Evil Blooming by a lot, which makes her an excellent choice to downing tanks very fast. So in a lot of situations, even though I do not crit on their tank, I do way too much damage that the tank just disappears anyway. Let's not forget that at Rebirth, Funeral of Gods actually provide you with an additional 15% strength, 10% from Godslayer itself, and 5% from Enrage. So this 15% is going to be really big. Okay, let's move on to the Trinket. Brutal Thor's Gauntlet. This Thor's Gauntlet is also a very good pick for her because it gives you strength plus 15% as a trait. That's the highest strength that you can get from any trinket in the game. And not to forget that the Rebirth also grants you an additional 5% strength, which is a total 20% strength in just one single equipment itself. Moving on, Serpent's Revenge is easily one of the best helmets for assassins or your rangers out there. It gives you a lot of strength and a lot of crit. When you rebirth, okay, this is a little bit unfortunate over here. It gives you Soothing Melody. I don't really understand why you need more HP, but regardless, 8% strength, 7% crit, that's going to be a really, really good combo. Armor choice, there is definitely going to be a better option than Stellaris armor, but for me, I'm just running with Stellaris armor because there are many times when I'm not able to do enough on my turn. Like for example, I can only hit their enemy tank, okay, because their assassins are invisible or something like that, and I do not have my AoEs or whatever the reasons may be, okay. Entering guard status and restoring my max HP, that has been quite helpful sometimes. More often than not, I've actually used this to save myself. And then let's look at artifacts over here. The suggested artifacts for me would be 3 sets of Sagittarius, okay, so increases damage done by 40% targets with more than 50% HP. So like I said, if your Lilith is really fast, you take the first turn, you hit an AoE, you're definitely going to hit everyone who has more than 50% HP, and you're going to be doing a lot more AoE damage this way. The second suggested set would be 2 sets of Capricorn, because single target damage would be increased by 12%, which also benefits your Evil Blooming. And your AoE damage is also further boosted by another 7.5%. Okay, so this also doubly stacks on your Evil Blooming as well. Here, it's pretty obvious, like, Evil Blooming is going to be one of your key skills to use, okay? Succubus Lash is going to be good to take out enemies on the first turn, right? But Evil Blooming is going to be the major skill that helps you to down tanks, helps you to do a lot of the magic in this game. So there is like one strategy where, you know, because your talent actually allows you to land charms on enemies after you take them out. So for turn 1, you can typically, it is a viable strategy to use Evil Blooming to snipe out one target, usually a tank, and then you drop charm on anyone else, and then on your second and third turn onwards, you can just be on an Evil Blooming streak. Now we look at the perks real quick over here. Definitely go for Stealth Strike, okay? There is no point going for Rampage because as long as you're able to defeat one target, you're able to defeat another target, okay? So that's like the basic rule of thumb over there. You don't really need a whole ton of crit. Like I said, you just need Evil Blooming to go on the tank who has maybe 5 stacks of charm. Boom, that's it. They're gone. Okay, but Stealth Strike, this is really important because you start off the fight being invisible. So as such, you already benefit from Stealth Strike from the get-go. So if you're going to go first, like I said, you're going to do an AoE. You're going to do a lot of damage from the start. Not to forget that when you use Succubus Lash, you actually go invisible after that, which means Stealth Strike gets effective again. And then if you use your Evil Blooming after that, you're going to do a lot more damage. Alright, so my Lilith has 238 speed, I think. So I should be able to go first. I usually go first in most of the situations. So let's see how effective a really fast Lilith can be. Okay, so I have 26,000 strength over here. So I should be able to crit through their Chang'e, their Lucifer, as well as their Artemis. And hopefully I should be able to take out the Lucifer and Artemis in one go. So let's see if this works. Okay, I managed to get rid of the Chang'e, and obviously I'm going to get avoided by the Ranger because Rangers tend to have a lot of physical evade. Okay, it comes in their weapons. They get a ton of physical evade, so that is something that you should be aware of. And you should know that if you're going to run a Lilith, your main enemy is most of the time going to be their Artemis, okay? Because the Artemis can drop a stun on you even though you're invisible, so you should be aware of that. So I like to bring in like a Jester because he's going to be able to help me to snipe off that Artemis really frequently. So let's see how effective Evil Blooming is. Okay, so there's 5 stacks of charm on the Valkyrie. Chances are I'm not going to be able to crit, and she has that Soul Link over there, so I'm going to be doing 50% less damage. But let's see if this is... Yep, that's more than enough to kill her. Awesome. Okay, we're going to take on a really tough opponent over here. Fingers crossed we have this on the first turn. I think oh wow, they move way faster than me. Okay, so that's a lot of speed on the Dracula over there. We are not gonna be able to do too much. Okay, so even with the Soul Link, we were still able to get rid of the Lucifer. So that was a lot of damage. Okay, and my gear is really not very strength focused. My gear is more speed focused. Okay, so now because we cannot target the Lilith over there, we're gonna do an AoE with our Jester. And we missed, that's not a problem. Okay, we're gonna drop a Moon Lantern because the Lilith over there is gonna be able to one-shot my Valkyrie on her third skill. So we're gonna have to drop that Moon Lantern over there. Okay, so let's see this again. Evil Blooming with the Soul Link and 4 stacks of Charm. Let's go! Nice, 227,000 damage. I literally just dropped the tank from almost full to 0 without even needing a crit. So that's the idea of chain Evil Blooming. Okay, so you Evil Bloom once, you drop charms on the other enemies, and then you can Evil Blooming again and rinse and repeat. GG. Okay, let's take a look at this one more time. Hopefully we get the first turn. And yes, we do. Okay, so they're not actually really fast because my Dracula doesn't have a ton of speed. Nice, we managed to take out the Artemis on the first go. So that means they practically lost the fight. So next turn, my Jester is just going to do an AoE. Probably going to be able to take out 2. Yeah, definitely going to take out 2 because of the cancer effect over there. So there you go, that's 3 dead DPSs. Well, 3 dead DPSs on the first turn. GG. Okay, before I end off this video, I just like to mention that Lilith, while she is very OP in the end game, she is not that much useful in the mid game. I would say that she's really good in the early and the end game. Okay, so in the early game, she's gonna be able to use her Succubus Lash to one-shot almost everything in the story mode, right? She's gonna be very efficient at doing what she does. However, when you hit the mid game, you start to realize that, hey, my AoE is not gonna be able to do so much damage. It's not gonna be able to drop their DPSs down to 0 in one hit. So she's practically like nowhere here nor there, okay? And then Lucifer, on the other hand, who has that awesome ability to hit again once she crit, she's gonna shine so much more, okay? But that's the thing, okay? So Lucifer is not gonna shine in the end game because she relies too much on critting, okay? That helps her a lot in the mid game when enemy Valkyries, enemy Marco Polos just do not have that much resilience. But in the end game, when everyone has like 170% resilience like my Valkyrie has, chances are you're not going to be able to crit so much. So with that said, in the end game, that's when Lilith shines even further because she doesn't need all that crit. All she needs is just to drop an AoE and she can do a significant amount of damage on the other enemy lineup units. Okay, with that said, that's the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down in the comments. If you have any other question, just ask me. I will try my best to get back to you ASAP. And with that said, like and subscribe if you have not already done so. And I will see you, as always, in the next video.